All right, guys, welcome to our first math lesson under this quarantine. So we're going to do a review set here. We got fractions, 2%, and I'd like you guys to follow along as we go. Get your notes because I think a lot of your notes are in your workbooks are still going to be at the school. We'll get those to you. So follow along, write down some of these examples so that you remember as we go through it. So for fractions, 2%. If we start off with 5/6, we have to remember that this fraction bar is our division sign. So we're going to do 5 divided by 6. Okay, 5 divided by 6 in that order. 6 does not fit into 5, so we're going to add a decimal and a 0 into our dividend and then a decimal up into our quotient. And we're going to do straight division from this point forward. 6 goes into 50 8 times. 8 times 6 is 48. Now we need to subtract. Can't do 0 minus 8. Borrow. Move that 1 over. 10 minus 8 is 2. Bring down a 0. 6 goes into 20. 3 times, that's 18. 3 times 6 is 18. So there's that. Again, can't do 0 minus 8. Borrow. That 10 slides over. 10 minus 8 is 2. All right, we got a pattern developing here. So we're going to bring down one more. We'll get into the thousandths place with our problems for today. Again, 3 times 6 is 18. We will stop there. So there's our decimal number. Again, if you don't remember, we are going to multiply all of these decimals to change into percents by 100. And I'm going to slide that over to make that easier for me, even though it's still 100. Slide those zeros over. It makes multiplying a lot easier. And then we have 3, 3, and 8. Decimal moves 1, 2, 3 times, 1, 2, 3 times. Okay, so that's how it looks. And when we do it up here, this decimal moves this way, but if we're changing it percent or decimal 2%, we're going to move it over 2 times to the right because we have 2 zeros there. So we have 83.3%. And because we had this pattern, this repeated pattern, we're going to do that. So we have 83 and a 0.3 going on forever. Or if you want to write 83 and a third percent, that works as well. Okay, so let's do another one. And we'll do it with an improper fraction. Again, fraction bar is our division sign. 7 divided by 4. We still need to add our decimal because we're going to go over to the thousandths place if it lets us. Okay, because 4 still fits into 7. It goes in one time. 1 times 4 is 4. And then we subtract. 7 minus 4 is 3. Bring down that 0. 3 fits into 30. Well, don't forget to put our decimal up. I almost forgot that one. 4 fits into 30 7 times. 7 times 4 is 28. Can't do 0 minus 8. We got to borrow. Bring that over. Now we have 10 minus 8 is 2. Again, we're going to go to the thousandths place if it lets us for this lesson. 4 fits into 20 5 times. We don't need to. So because we have 5 times 4 is 20. And so there is our decimal number. Again, because we are going decimal, now we're going decimal 2%. We're multiplying by that 100. Decimal moves over. So for this, we have 7/4 equals 175%. Okay, remember to move that decimal 2 times to the right when we're going decimal to percent. Don't forget, if you need to look back at these, press the pause button. Okay, that's the joy of video. Show you something real quick that you can do with your family. Playing cards are fantastic. You can do so many math games with them. So I have a deck of cards right down here. I'm going to draw it up. I drew a 2 and a 6. So I make that my fraction. So you guys can do this. You can see who gets the answer first. So we got 2, 6. So we're going to do 2 divided by 6. And we have decimal 0. Move that decimal up. Again, thousands place if it lets us for this lesson. 6 doesn't fit into 2, but it fits into 20. 3 times, we have 18. Can't do 0 minus 8, borrow. Same spot we were with our very first problem, actually. So we have 2, and then that doesn't work. We got to bring down a 0. We're going to keep on repeating for this one, and it's going to go on and on and on. And 3, and then we got our 18. So there's our thousandths place. We can leave that as it is. This keeps on repeating. Move that decimal 1. 2 times, multiplying it by that 100. So 2, 6, also 1/3. Some of you may have caught on to that and recognize that 1/3 is your 0.3 going on forever. So our answer is 33.3 going on forever percent, or you can have the 33 and 1/3%. Either one will absolutely work. Again, pause if I am going too fast. That's the joy of video. Okay, next one. Oh, what do we get here? Ooh, we got a nice fancy one here. We got a king and a 7. So one of the things you have to do, king equals 13, queen equals 12, and a jack equals 11. If you get an ace, ace is 1. But we had a king and a 7, so we have 13 over 7. Set up our division problem. 13 divided by 7. Okay, still putting in our decimal and our 0 because we are going to the thousandths place no matter what happens for this lesson, because some of these will keep going on forever, as you have seen. 7 fits into 13 one time. That's 7. And then we do 13 minus 7. We have 6. Bring down your 0. 7 goes into 60 lots of times. What do you guys get? Hopefully you have 8. 8 times 7 is 56. Subtract. Got to borrow. Okay, so 10 minus 6 is 4. And we're going to keep going here. 7 fits into 45 times. You got 35. Again, we got to borrow. I know some of you will do the shortcut. You'll just skip that. You know it. It's perfectly fine. And we bring down another 0 because we have to get to the thousandths place. I want to keep you going to that one. 7 fits into 50. 7 times. There's 49. 1 left, but we're going to stop. We are in the thousandths place, so we'll keep it right there. Decimal moves 2 times to the right for multiplying by 100. So for this one, we're going to have 185.7%. Again, just because we stopped right there at the thousandths place. So this is a quick game you can play with your family. Just draw the 2 cards, set up your fraction. Whoever gets to the percentage first gets a point, gets a win. However you want to set that up. Okay, for your homework that I will post on Classroom, and let's see if I can get this set up as I want to. I'm giving this a go as best as I can. Can we see it, kind of? A little bit? Sorry, guys, I'm trying here. All right, so I'm going to give you a set of cards just like this. So here, for this set of cards, you have a king, 2, 4, and 9. So for your homework, I'm gonna post on which pair of cards equals, let's say, 450%. So you're gonna have to look through all of these, and they can be in any order. So I'm gonna look at, well, if I do 2 fourths, that's 1/2. That is not 450%. What if I do 4 over 2? Well, 4 divided by 2 is 2. That's 200%. That's not going to work. So I'll make it easy on you. We've eventually figured out that 9 over 2 is 450% because 9 divided by 2. 2 fits into 9 4 times. And then you have, that's 8. And then so you have the 1 left. So you have 4 and 1/2. Okay, so they can be in any order. They can be diagonal. They can be all spread out. So here's a part where you're going to pause and you can kind of see the cards sitting up here. Here is going to be your cards, and I'm going to ask you to find percentages based on these cards that I give you. I know this is really technical stuff here. So right here, hopefully you guys can see all of these well enough. Looks like we can. So we got 3, 6, 7, 10, 5, 3, 8, queen. I would recommend pausing this, writing these down so you know which cards they are, so you don't have to try and memorize them. And then when you get onto Google Classroom, I'll have the questions and I'll say which set of cards equals whatever percentage, and you're going to just type in the fraction. Okay? So maybe it's what 2 cards equal this percentage, and maybe it's 7/5. So you do 7/5, and that'll be the answer that you type in. Hopefully that makes sense, and we can go and then you can figure out what all the answers are. Again, pause it so you can see it. If you had any questions with steps or I went too fast, go back, slow down with the pause button, and work through problems. And you have lots of practice problems you can do with a deck of cards. Okay, just type the layout deck of cards, do your work. You can check answers on your calculators with your cell phone or with your computer. All right, guys, let me know if you have questions.